but I cannot think of a transgender activist I have met who has done their work with such dignity and grace, with people 2, 3, 4, 5 times their age just acting so disrespectfully and shamefully in front of them. I'm of course talking to Gavin Grimm, who is the plaintiff in the case. I'm going to hand the microphone to Gavin.
Gavin! 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 Gavin!
All right, let's see. There we go. All right, cool. All right. So, my name is Gavin Grimm, and I'm a high school senior from Gloucester, Virginia. I want to thank first the National Center for Transgender Equality for inviting me to be here today and for their work to advance transgender equality in the United States. My story is the story of many young people around the nation. Like all young people, I struggled to come to terms with who I am and who I'm meant to be. But unlike many young people, my local school board stepped in to complicate my ability to be myself and to enjoy the same rights of my peers. In 1 month, I will do what few teenagers have the chance to do: stand before the United States Supreme Court. Because my lawyers from the ACLU will be asking the court to decide whether transgender students like me have the right to be treated just like our peers at school. Today, however, the Trump administration, directing the Departments of Justice and Education, is poised to remove crucial Title IX guidance which protects hundreds of thousands of transgender students across the nation. I've faced my share of adversaries in rural Virginia, but I never imagined that my government would be one of them. We will not be beaten down by this administration or any. What could happen today does not mean my case ends, which is why we have gathered here outside of the White House, the people's house, to let it be heard that we will not be silenced, and that we will stand with and protect trans youth. No matter what happens, no one, not even the government, can defeat a community so full of life, color, diversity, and most importantly, love.
Amen.
I do not know if I have ever shared the stage with somebody so graceful and articulate. I am so honored to have you here, Gavin. And I want to just name another hero for a lot of us. And she's not here today, but I just want us to maybe tell Laverne Cox, are we going to stand with Gavin? Stand with Gavin. Okay, Gavin, thank you so much for coming up from Gloucester. We're so honored to have you here, and we will all be with you at the Supreme Court. And now, my friend and colleague, who was already introduced, Chad Griffin from the Human Rights Campaign.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mara. And Gavin, millions and millions and millions of people, despite what this one man in the house behind us has said and is doing, millions of people are standing with you, and we are so honored to stand alongside you. Today, Donald Trump unconscionably revoked common sense guidance that furthered critical protections for transgender students. And he did it under the guise of so-called states' rights. Well, you see, this is an excuse that has been used throughout the history of this country by those opposed to equal rights. You heard it from Governor George Wallace, and you heard it from Governor Orville Faubus, and so many others standing in the way of equality. This has always been their disgraceful excuse. But let me be clear, this is not a states' rights issue. This is a fundamental civil rights issue. All students should be protected equally, regardless of where they live. Who could disagree with that? Simply put, Donald Trump is a bully. And whether a bully at school or in the Oval Office, our job is to hold the bully accountable. And with your help, I know HRC, NCTE, ACLU, and so many others are at work doing just that. But equally important is that we all stand up for those who are being bullied. Every single one of us out here tonight, and the millions upon millions of allies all across this country, can do just that. This is a moment that we all should be standing up to affirm our love and our support for transgender students across this country. So whether you're a teacher, a counselor, a parent, a preacher, a neighbor, or an elected official, we need you to stand up. Stand up, speak out, and show your support for transgender young people today, tomorrow, and every single day this man is in that house. And take the time to call your elected officials and ask them what they're doing to protect transgender students, to protect all students. And make sure your schools have inclusive policies. Ask these questions. And take the time to reach out to a young person who might be hurt by what they've seen in the news and what they've seen come from this president and from this house behind me. And in closing, I want every transgender young person in America to hear this. You are valued, you are important, you matter, and you are loved. And lastly, let it be heard loud and clear to transgender young people all around this country. Donald Trump is just one little man who happens to be president, but millions upon millions of people have Gavin's back and every other trans student's back in this country. Thank you.